Yo, what up, Street Talks? Eric Kim. All right, some turbo thoughts. So this one is about the notion of a core court mortal soul versus the notion of an immortal soul. Now, why is this important? So for me, it is a very important idea because, like, notions of quote unquote spirituality and stuff like that, it's, I think, sometimes a little bit misguided. So I do believe that everyone has like a quote unquote soul or a spirit within themselves, which is like, if you think about it more empirically, it's kind of like a connection of like your muscles, your tissues, your electricity going through your body, your brain, your muscles, your ego, memory, whatever. And yeah, so that's, I think that makes sense, right? However, a lot of the misconceptions is, I think it's kind of this strange chimera or hybrid between Western thinking and Eastern thinking. So for example, like in Buddhism, right? There's the general notion of quote unquote reincarnation, is that after you die, you're, based on your karma or like the good or the bad actions you've done, you're going to come back in the next life in a different form. And there's also two types of Buddhism. The one I'm describing is the fact that if you've been bad in this life, you're going to come back like a cow or a pig or something like that. And also the funny thing about America is that a lot of us, America is founded by, Protestant slash Quaker slash Puritan ideals, right? Even on the money, right? In God we trust. And this is an important distinction because it means that even if you're, grew up in America and you're not religious, kind of this like Anglo-Saxon, pseudo-British, Protestant thinking actually still does affect people. So for example, even if you're not, religious, right? Like why is it being quote unquote selfish considered bad and immoral? And also similarly speaking, right? Most people who are not religious in America, at least, they think like, once you're dead, you're dead. And a lot of people are afraid of this, and maybe this is what gives genesis to all these people trying to do these life extension therapies, whatever. But I like the idea that the soul is mortal. The soul is actually just like, essentially it's a storehouse of your body, right? So your body is essentially your soul. And once you're dead, lights out, gone, right? And I think the main reason why people shouldn't be afraid of death is that once you're dead, when you die or you're dead, you don't feel the pain associated with dying, right? Like even in theory, if you fell off a cliff, right, and you died, right? Probably the second that you hit your head on the ground, you're gonna feel pain, but then also it's kind of like lights out, right? So yeah, so what is one to do about this? Some like practical thoughts, have kids, right? Like having kids is the most robust way to continue your personal legacy. And people's trying to like clone humans. I'm like, dude, just have a kid. And it's so hilarious that like all these like Silicon Valley folks, right? They're just like not having kids, but they want to live forever, right? So actually the upside of having kids or having multiple kids is you do spread your chances of legacy. Like I was even thinking too, it's like, what if one day Seneca grows up and he doesn't want to have kids? Then in theory my genetic legacy is done, so right? But anyways, and even Nietzsche has a funny Latin pun. It's libri aut liberi, which means that the context is for women, their legacy is either to write books or to have kids. I mean, the ideal is to both, like what Cindy's done. And so I think ultimately we all just kind of have a love of humanity and a love of the world and nature and stuff like that. And actually what we do desire for ourselves is for the propagation of the human race, And I do think that there is some built-in altruism in the human being and the soul. But it's funny, like I was like randomly going down a rabbit hole, like searching up like Sergey Brin and stuff like that, is that all these Silicon Valley billionaires, whatever, once they've kind of stepped down, they're doing some other random stuff, then like it seems like a lot of them feel a little bit like aimless or pointless in terms of what they decide to do, what they decide to pursue in life. I like, my personal theory and thought is, even like let's face it, Jeff Bezos, right? His ultimate goal is to, get off Earth and make humans interplanetary, just like Elon Musk. And I think that's the reason why he stepped down as CEO of Amazon. And, I can't speak for you, right? But my personal ambition is, I just want to create thoughts, be healthy, have strong health, and utilize that strength and ideas to help uplift humans, humanity, and so forth. So I do think that it is a good, like, one of the reasons why it's good to reverse engineer the life of billionaires is that, like, apparently a lot of billionaires want to seek some sort of refuge from the rest of society, like this bomb-ass view I have here in Hadong. And the funny thing is, actually being here in the mountains and stuff like that, like, you kind of do get accustomed to the view. Like, this is such a great view, but I've acclimated to it already, which means I look at it, it's like, it's nice, but it's not like, I'm not like super fawning over it, right? But the good thing about being in the mountains, at least, I think it does improve the quality of your thoughts. And for me, thinking, turbo thoughts, creativity, art is what I love the most. And so, I think while we're still alive, good things to focus on is, our physical health. I don't believe in quote mental health in the standard way. I believe in physical bodily health, because if your body is sick, your mental health is also going to be sick. But if your body is strong and healthy, your mind will also be healthy, right? So the more immediate thing is actually your body, and then your mind, your mental thing, essentially it's an offshoot or extension of your body. Like, because even people who are like, all these people trying to upload their consciousness to the cloud, the reason why these people are so silly is that in actuality, a mind cannot exist without a body. And I think a lot of people who are not religious, they think of a mind as just being like ones and zeros and electrical impulses, but I think it's far more than that. So what we should do is, if we want to maximize our impact on the planet, focusing on our physical health and our strength. Certainly having fast Wi-Fi is a huge benefit. Trying to optimize your climate or your sun exposure, whatever, to maximize your turbo thinking abilities is what I like. And yeah, like even Seneca, the OG philosopher, not my son, said, life is short, art is long. Vita brevis, ars longa. Ars means art in Latin. And he's actually quoting, I think, Hippocrates, the same guy with the Hippocratic oath, first do no harm. And so I think it's a good idea that us to think of our soul as a mortal soul. And a soul is just kind of a buildup or a mashup between your body, your mind, personality, whatever, your memories. That's why it's so sad when you see people who have Alzheimer's and they've lose their sense of memory or sense of self. Essentially, like, in some, like, their body and their basic functioning still lives on, but their personality and augmented soul kind of dies in a certain way. But anyways, so once again, we got to remember type 3 diabetes is essentially Alzheimer's. Cut out the sugars, sweets, carbs, whatever. Got some chickens in the background somewhere. Get good health, be in the sun a lot. I love this thing here. And try to live beyond yourself and publish beyond yourself.